We are going live right now.
So
Hi,
great.
everyone. Happy Friday. I hope you all had a wonderful week because we have a special treat for you today. My very special guest, Carly Neubauer, that I've known for some time, is here to join our Spotlight Friday event. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us. You know that I'm going to ask you the same thing that I'm asking you every single Friday is please acknowledge that you're here, say hi to us in comments, and yes, do ask us question during conversation if you're watching us live. Otherwise, you'll see a replay later on. Carly, welcome.
Thank you, Anna. This is a very great way to spend a Friday. So thank you for having me on.
I'm glad because you stuck with me now for about 20 minutes. And I just wanted to remind you and probably share that with people who are joining us or about to join us, how we met. I don't know if you remember, but Ryan from Tall Bob, I caught up with him as always for coffee. And he said to me, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to someone and you're going to get along like house on fire because you're so similar. And I thought, no one wants to have another Anna in their life, but I'll reach out to Carly. And true to himself, he did the intro, and yes, we realized that we are very similar, and we had a very good catch up, and here we are.
Yes, and thank you to Ryan. He's such a great friend, and he said the same to me when he called me and said, "You need to meet Anna." And I said, "Of course, okay, I'll take your recommendation." And he was absolutely right. Yeah.
Thank you. Here we are, and you're going to share with us something super important. We're going to talk about first-party data, my favorite subject of all, and why it's a secret weapon. We'll speak about how to design programs that feel personal and perform commercially very well. Also important because for me, loyalty associates with profitability, not just a tick to have in the board report. And we'll see what else comes up. Over to you. Tell us about you.
Well, thank you. My name's Carly Neubauer. I think we know that by now. And I'm the managing director of Elevate Loyalty. We love loyalty, been in the industry for a length of time. And the main thing we love to do is design, implement, and manage programs for our clients in a range of different industries. And I guess the reason we do this is because we love seeing the ability and bringing the ability to our clients to change the behaviors, drive profitability, as we're going to talk about, and how it does bring that first party data to businesses. Yeah.
I believe you've been doing this for some time.
Yes,
How long?
definitely. And a few iterations. It's over 15 years now in a few different businesses and iterations. And for me, I absolutely love that because I had the benefit of doing it with in private companies, ASX listed, but now Elevate, we are our own business and we can work with so many different clients and be really agile across industries as well. So this is super fun and a huge passion.
I could tell. Let's talk about first party data. What can you
Oh,
share
so
with us?
fun. So fun on a Friday. Like, I think most people here would know exactly what that is. I'm not going to teach people about data and how to suck eggs.
Let's just assume that
No,
we do.
yeah, true, true. It's more that what loyalty can do. And we always talk about first party data and why it's important. But the loyalty programs and the ones we run, it's the ability to access good quality data. Businesses can find out about their customers and members and how they can use that to properly segment and communicate to their audience. So it's not just about how do we collect lots of data, it's how they're getting good quality data through as well. So I know that in this day and age, there's lots you can read about the types of data and why it's important to get first party data. But the role that loyalty plays is that direct relationship and being able to ask for more information and get good, rich data about the audience.
Who do you think is the right person in the organization to extract that information about the first party data and tell the story?
That's great. I think it varies on the business to be really frank. In some businesses we see this is a really marketing owned role. Others there's a really strong CRM team. but I think it's the authenticity of who's asking for data and why, and also being transparent about why the business is getting this information. Don't just ask, we call it the data grab. Don't just ask for lots of data. Why do you need it? What are you doing with it? And
Yes.
show your members that you're doing something valuable with that information. Um, you need to be authentic.
Oh, I love that. You speak my language. I can't tell you how many times I had to remind it in my previous job about this. You're asking all these questions. Can you tell me, give me some context for it? Because you're going to forget about it in 3 days' time. So we need to understand because it will take someone time to dig it all up and put it together in Excel spreadsheet. Then make sure that that data tells the story as well. So
Absolutely.
very important. I agree about the why. And what is it that you want to know by asking these questions as well? So that it needs to be contextual as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of examples we give, a really, really simplistic one is don't ask for people's birth dates unless you're going to do something with it. And there's a lot of contention
Yes.
around, are we celebrating everyone's birthday as well? So that's a whole nother conversation. But as simple as if you ask for it, do something valuable with it. Don't just ask for information just to hoard it.
Totally agree. Yes, it needs to be attached to the outcome as well and to the goals that will ultimately should benefit the customer because this is why we do what we do, right?
Absolutely. And customers, members are very savvy these days. People are aware of what is happening with their own data as well. So it can't be taken lightly. If you're collecting it, do something useful with it.
Yes, I agree with you, Jody, that yes, everyone is chasing data and they have no understanding as why we need it. But I think this is the executive team's role, or someone who definitely can prioritize the roadmaps and tasks for people because they need to be. This is their job to explain
Yeah.
this as to why we asking certain questions and why we do what we do. Okay, let's just switch gears. Let's talk about how to design programs that feel personal and perform commercially.
Oh, yes. Personal, well, that is exactly as it says. It's going to be different across any program because to create a personal program, for your audience, that you really need to understand the audience, and it will be different by company, by industry. But I think that's so important to design with the demographic, with your member in mind. What is the right construct that resonates with that member base? What is the right type of program? It's really easy just to assume that everyone's going to have a points program or a tiered program, but what kind of construct are we designing for the audience as well? And that's so important, and that's a really good starting point before going into how we personalize the benefits and the value or the rewards within it as well. So that those sort of metrics really have to be considered early on as to what does the audience actually want. Not everybody wants the same thing, without stating the obvious.
How would you gather this information? Would you run surveys? Would you ask store staff? Would you do all of that? What would be a contributing information to make those decisions?
Sure. If I had perfect world scenario and lots of time to do this, absolutely. You've got research, surveys, customer, stakeholders, internal, external. The more information you can gather about that, the better. Obviously, that's not the case in every scenario. I do know that. So there's ways to obviously streamline that and move in a really agile sense. But obviously, the more information you can gather around the people that are either running the program, working with the customers, and the customers themselves, the better, because obviously then we can take all of that into consideration when putting it together and getting that right construct in place.
I have a question, Carly. Well, I have a lot of questions, obviously, but one of them, I mean, you've been doing this for over 15 years and you've, I'm sure, accumulated lots of business cases and studies based on all your experiences with clients. At what point do you get approached and what's your brief? Is it to upgrade, revamp, come up with something new?
Usually, on average, there's sort of 2 points. One, where a client knows they would like or need a program, or someone's told them you need a program, and they're looking for something brand new, and that's super exciting. Love working with a new clean slate from scratch. That's amazing. Also, another point is usually when there's a program in place, and something's not working. It's either not working commercially, it's not engaging well, or there's some critical point where it needs an evolution. So at that point as well, or an overhaul in some cases, that's another critical point where we will be contacted to say, hey, what can we do differently? What needs to change, or what's the evolution path for this program?
Then how do you support it? So you have a software, you have a platform. So what can it do in a nutshell? So the reason that I'm asking you all this, and sorry about that, but it's just obviously it's all unprompted. You know, we're live, everyone.
Yeah.
This is no one's recorded anything. Carly had no idea what I'm going to ask. You know how crazy I am. And I just want people who are listening to us or will watch the restream to understand exactly at what point to contact you and to approach you.
Yeah, for sure. We're tech agnostic actually. So we don't we don't assume before meeting our clients what they need. We understand them and we understand their brief. Once we know what they need, that's when we design and construct the right solution, and one that is commercially viable. And at that point as well, we help source the right tech to solve for them. If we do it any other way around, we're effectively square peg round holing it, and that's not the way we operate.
Understood. Yes, that makes perfect sense. So it's good to know that you're quite agnostic. So, and you obviously work with large organizations as
Yes.
well. I think most of your clients are enterprise size clients.
We do a bit of both. Definitely have enterprise. I love working. We do also love working with SMEs as well, of course. It really comes down to program type and the need of the client as well. So we love working across the range of different industries.
So, what is, in your experience, that shift from running a program to driving retention and revenue?
Well, this is a passion. I still teach commercial modeling and loyalty, so I love this part. We work on a profitability framework, which we take our clients through as well, and we can do that in an extensive form, or we can do quite a streamlined form, depending on the stage they are at. But again, going back to that construct, the right type of program, size, what are the revenue, how are we driving incremental revenue, liability, churn, costs always has to be considered as well, as much as no one really wants to talk about that. It's a massive factor in all of this. And then we look at the return on investment model for that program specifically. And there is no one size fits all. I get asked all the time, can you send me a template? No, because everyone's return on investment model is different based on them and their business, which is why we structure it and frame it specifically for that client.
In most cases, would you say that the potential clients that approach you, that their brief is up to scratch and they know exactly what they want, or it changes?
So there's a reason we have a reverse brief process as well, because, and fair enough, if someone says we know we've identified a need that we would like to move into loyalty, or we'd like to develop a loyalty program, they may not know all of the items they need to do that, and that's great, that's fine, that's our job. So we also work in a very reverse brief model where we can go to them and say, this is what we think you need, this is the information we need from you to then structure this as well. So that's our job. That's our expertise. We don't expect everybody to come to us being loyalty experts. They're doing their everyday expert job, right?
I love that. So, a reverse brief. This is going to be my
Absolutely.
takeaway from this conversation. This is so powerful, but it's so good that you're very flexible around it because you're absolutely right. They've got a job that they have to focus on, and they need to rely on experts like yourself to come in and tell them what good looks like potentially.
Well, that's what they're engaging us for. I mean, they're experts in their field, and we're not experts in that. We need to learn and understand them and get under the hood there. But our job is to bring the loyalty expertise. So that's why the partnership works, and that's why we enjoy doing it.
I'm going to ask you a question that you don't see coming, but I'm sure you'll give us a very comprehensive answer. What do you think, which loyalty metrics that needs to be tracked in 2025?
Ooh. I've been asked this a lot in the last few weeks because we've had a few
Ah,
different
I
events.
wanted to know that I'm so special.
I
Clearly not.
fear I
Okay.
answered I answered terribly because I don't think there is a one size fits all. In some industries, NPS is still really strong and it's really important. In others, we're talking about customer lifetime value. I also see some clients who really struggle to measure customer lifetime value depending on the data they have. So we have to look at metrics that match. In a retail environment, it can be ATV, basket size. There's a range. So it's easy for me to say these are the specific metrics. It's not always easy to get all the data together to measure those straight away. So that's why it's a tricky one to answer as a blanket response.
No, you're absolutely right. I was, there is a lot of conversations right now about the retention rate and is it important or it's not important? Should we track it or shouldn't we track it? Because at the end of the day, it's all about to create that emotional connection with customers that they're that engaged, that they just keep coming back and shop with the brand regardless. Therefore, the retention rate becomes redundant. That's not what we should be tracking. So, what is your view on that?
Retention rate, I was a easy answer. Of course, it's important, but we debate this a lot. It's the same as your member versus non-member spend thresholds. There's a lot of debate around how are you measuring it, and I like to go back to how are you measuring and what is the objective of the program. Another one you could throw in there is active rates. Okay, what's active for one program may not be active for another. Frequency in one retailer is totally different to frequency in another retailer. But at the end of the day, what was the objective of the program in the first place? And then what are we measuring against that? It's not the same for everybody.
Agree. This is a very good explanation, by the way.
I
Quite
feel
like
like
that.
it's a bit vague, but it's also I'm trying to be specific, but I'm also trying to make sure we talk to the
Because it
fact
is
that it's not
different,
the
but
same
you're
for
absolutely
everybody.
right.
Yeah,
But I think if you and I and we're in this industry and we have a debate around it, so I think it's very helpful for other people just to get into that nitty gritty of understanding what is that we need to do in 2025, not what we did last year or 5 years ago, because everything changes. The customer behavior changes. It's more intuitive. They're savvier. They do their research better and than most of us. So yes, we just need to keep up with customer expectations. So that's why I've asked that question. And loyalty is it's very very broad
mhm,
as an industry, as the science, I suppose, and it means very different things to very different people. So that's why we
definitely.
need to have these ongoing conversations and tailor it and make it more curated to people that it's relevant to. But I think every single brand in the business under the sun should think about maybe not necessarily loyalty per se, but about their customer strategy. And they should have a
Yeah.
customer strategy embedded into their business because those people are going to come back and shop and spend money with you.
That's pretty much it, right? And look, at the end of the day, we always think about loyalty objectives need to tie into the overarching business objectives because in one retailer, you might be saying, right, we want to increase our frequency from 2 visits to 10 visits. Another retailer might say, hey, we can't get everybody to come in 10 times, but we need those people to buy 3 more items in that one shop. It is going to be different. And it also depends on the product they're selling. There's only so
Very
many
true.
times you can buy some products in a year. So we need to consider the product set along with the metric that we're measuring.
Agree. Very good. So if we are to humanize elevate loyalty, tell us about the personality of your business.
We like to have fun, but it is serious. So as much as I love talking about it and we do have a laugh, we know we're not necessarily saving lives per se. We are aware, but we do take our client programs seriously as well. We take our performance and our SLAs to deliver to our clients extremely seriously. This is their business and we adore them. But at the same time, we are aware that loyalty can have fun and is lighthearted in the same breath as well. So that's probably a bit of our tone and our style. So hopefully that resonates across as well.
Amazing. It certainly does. I have to tell you, you've done such an amazing job on in this conversation because I threw questions at you you were not expecting, and you did an outstanding job. And I'm very grateful for this conversation. It's been a lot of fun. You are an amazing human, and thank you so much for joining me. I hope all the people that's been commenting and attending this call and our conversation, enjoyed it as much. And thank you for sharing your lunch hour with us. We appreciate it. And to everyone else, have a lovely long weekend.
Absolutely.
We'll
Thank
see.
you, Anna. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.